What the narcissist knew before you. Think about that for a minute. So you're learning about narcissism and you are getting stronger. You're discovering so much more about humanity, about yourself, about narcissism, and about the person or the people that did what they did to you. You see, everything on this planet, Earth, isn't how it appears to be. And some people wear masks. And at the top of that list, of course, yes, you get it. It's the narcissist. They were not authentic. They were not transparent. They definitely weren't committed. And they were trying to lure you down to a path that led to Destructionsville. Now that path that the narcissist dropped you off at via discard, most likely, that's where you were supposed to stop in the eyes of the narcissist. You see, the narcissist never thought you would heal. They did not think you would see behind the mask, and they didn't think you would ever put yourself back together. Essentially, when they drop somebody off at that dead end, which is known as Destructionsville, they don't think those people are ever going to find their way out. And truth be told, most of them don't. You did. I did. I am out and I'm healed. You are healing or you've healed. And what you're realizing now, and this is the reason I'm creating this video, is the narcissist knew so much more about everything before you even caught up to 1/1000th of 1% of what they knew. Now this is an insurmountable advantage, an advantage that was given to the narcissist. Because why? The narcissist is a predator, and they have that sixth sense. It is a killer predatory instinct, if you will. Yes, I said it. Having said those things, you didn't know anything about this. What you were thinking was, if you heard the terms killer instinct or predator, you probably thought about a cheetah or a leopard or a lion or something in the middle of the jungle or the rainforest or the wilderness. Well, you didn't realize that a predator, yes, the person you're considering, was really close to you. You perhaps even married the narcissist. There was a movie that came out 20, 30 years ago, and I created this video in 2021 called this, Sleeping with the Enemy. No truer words have ever been spoken. When you are vulnerable, you're trapped, you're naive, you don't know what's happening, and you are committed to a person who is not committed to you the same way. They're committed to destroying your life. You are committed to building their life up. When you're in that position, there is a very, and I mean very small chance of you ever escaping. I did it. You did it. And guess what? More and more people now in this present day are beginning to get the message and beginning to believe in themselves. You see, the narcissist knew what you did not. They knew, number one, they were a narcissist. Number two, they knew that you were vulnerable and naive, and you most likely have a high level of empathy. They also knew that you were wearing your heart on a sleeve, which meant that you were treating everybody pretty much equally. And they also knew that you had no idea what was about to take place. That's the key part for this video. They knew that you knew nothing about what was going to take place. So when you are in a relationship and one person knows the path, they know the road, because they've been down that road hundreds, maybe thousands, maybe more times, and they know that it always ends, and it always ends with another person getting hurt. And they now know that they're entering a relationship with you, or they did in the past. They already have everything mapped out. Truth be told, they know every twist and turn on the road. This is why these people, the narcissists, they're toxic. And you need to take this very seriously. The narcissistic relationship by design is a killing machine. Now you may think, whoa, I've never heard you talk that way before, Andrew. Well, I shared with you a couple weeks ago, I was going to begin unpacking nuggets of wisdom that you hadn't heard me speak of before. There is a big one just dropped on you. Now you should know that there's a movie that came out recently referencing narcissism. If you want the real truth, if you look, you will find way more than one movie that has been created on narcissism. Take a look. It's been around you for quite a long period of time. But having shared that, the narcissist knew that they were going to drop you off at a dead end. They also knew that they would steal everything out from underneath you. Again, your hope, your mindset, your money, your belief in humanity, your money, time, health, everything else. And they would take it and they would use it as fuel to get them away from you and jettison them or take off or slither away to a new source of supply. So what they did is they ransacked your environment, your life, stole everything they could, and they just slithered off to a new source, acting like what they stole from you was theirs when it wasn't. and then they repeated the cycle. That's why this narcissistic abusive cycle, it just continues to go around and around and around. And it is so easy to see it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Now, to have the ability to see it, you most likely have had to been through the narcissistic abusive cycle and understand it fully. That doesn't mean that if other people are reading or watching videos and they haven't been trapped in a cycle, that they can't see things. The difference between somebody like myself who was trapped in a cycle and who now pays it forward, and I've done just that for 6+ years, and somebody who has never been in a cycle but who is craving information so they can protect themselves, is I can finish your sentence in a second. In a split second. It's easy for me. I wish I didn't have the skill set, but I do. And because I do, I pay it forward and help you out and help out way more than you would ever imagine. And that's what you're doing. Because when you go no contact, you will have done your part. But having said that, I want to finish the thread, the thought. Other people haven't been through the cycle. You should count your lucky stars that you haven't been in the cycle, because you don't know if you're strong enough to make it out. Again, I said it. See, these are things you didn't expect me to say over the years, because you're used to a person, which is me, really being sugarcoating things and really being tame and really using my words patiently, which I will always do. I'm just sharing with you. I'm taking the gloves off a little bit more now, because this is the time. This is the time to go no contact if you haven't yet. If you haven't, and you know that the person you're considering is toxic, you need to ask yourself what you're waiting for. But getting back on track, the person who hasn't been in the cycle, they don't want to find out what the cycle's all about. Again, I'm going to say it. If a person who is thinking that they know everything about humanity and that they can handle a narcissist and they can outsmart them and they can outmaneuver them, etc., if they think they can do that, they're wrong, wrong, wrong. And I'll keep saying that, because they don't know that the narcissist will shapeshift any which way the wind blows. They also don't know that once the narcissist gets in your energy field, it is very, and I do mean very, challenging to remove said toxicity from your energy. But you do it, and I did it. That's why you must cut the 4 ties. And what are the 4 ties? Of course, they're the emotional, the financial, the physical, and the spiritual tie. As those are being cut, you're getting stronger. As you are getting stronger, the narcissists, plural, are getting weaker. And they're having to work, which is what they don't want to do. They're having to actually work these days to find sources of supply. You're off the radar, so am I. Once you're off, you stay off. But as the thumbnail mentions, what the narcissist knew before you, they knew, number one, that that relationship was going to expire. Each and every narcissistic relationship has an expiration date. The next thing they also knew is that they were going to punish you and steal everything they possibly could from you, because this is what fuels the narcissist. The narcissist needs supply, and there are 2 types of supply. There's negative supply and positive supply. Positive supply is when they're laughing it up and having fun and you almost think they're a human being. Well, that's enjoying things. Well, that doesn't really last with the narcissist, does it? No, it doesn't. Negative supply is when they can take somebody like you, a beautiful, bright, shining light, and turn you into what they are, which is negative. And you don't see the light at the end of the day, and you don't believe tomorrow will be better, and you're consumed by all their problems. Essentially, you're brainwashed, you're hoodwinked, you're tricked, you're trapped, and all of the narcissist baggage is dumped on your lap, and you have to deal with it. And once you deal with it, tomorrow will be another endless to-do list. You'll deal with that. That's why the narcissist needs people. They need people to do things for them, because the narcissist, I hope you're sitting down, they are not competent to take care of themselves. Now you may say, whoa, what's that mean? Well, what it means is exactly what I said. Now, is the narcissist that you're considering an adult? Of course. Do they know how to function in life? Well, they know how to wear masks and to maneuver and manipulate people. But when it comes to day-to-day regulation of their emotions and handling the word no, which is the strongest word in the English language, and dealing with adversity, they have no clue. They can't handle anything. That's why the narcissist needs people. I keep saying this, but it's true. They can't handle the truth. They can't handle pressure. They can't handle rejection. They can't handle somebody actually turning them down. This is why what the narcissist wants to do is beat anybody they possibly can to the punch of ending anything. And that's also why the narcissist won't give closure, which is another thing the narcissist knew that you would never receive: closure. What is closure? It's when a person has the ability to process said events, whatever took place. Example, the best example, and I've shared it for years, is when you lose a loved one. Say a loved one passes away. Well, what do? You usually go to an event or ceremony of life or a funeral or something, and you participate and you grieve and you hug it out and you shed tears and you tell stories and everyone gets together. and then you process things together. And then when you go home that day, or maybe for a couple weeks afterwards, or maybe longer, you still process things, but you're in a part of a community. That is grieving, that's healing, that's clarity, and that's closure, I should say. With the narcissist, you get none of that. You get one thing dropped off on an island of isolation in an ocean of manipulation with nothing, no frequency, no communication, no one around there to help you out. And you have to fend for yourself. That's why this is the perfect killing machine. I said it twice. Now, I'm not going to keep saying that expression, but you need to understand something. This guy, the guy you're looking at, me, yes, me, I almost didn't make it January 6, 2021. What that means is I almost offed myself, and I take that very seriously. And I've hinted on that over the years in videos, and now I'm going to touch on it a tiny bit more. That is not what any human being should ever even consider doing. But when you are put under so much pressure that it breaks you to your core, it breaks you to your foundation, and you give up all hope, I mean every morsel of your being you've given up, and you believe that there's not another day to go on, and you're pushed to the brink, that is not a good space to be in. But I want to share this, and I will let you know that in the video there will be a trigger warning for that, and my hope is you're doing well and you're strong. But I made it out all by myself. I healed against all odds during a pandemic. You can't make any of this up. Go back in time, look at the first video I ever created called Glad You Made It. It was created March 31st, 2021. Right at the height of the pandemic. You can't make any of these things up. And you may say, well, why are you telling us these things, Andrew? I'm telling you because I made it out against all odds. And look at now. I've rebuilt. That's what you're doing. That's why you're stronger than you know. And you need to understand something. That the narcissist will push you, push me, push anyone to their breaking point. You need to not break. You need to understand and believe in yourself the way I believe in you. Way back when, January 6, 2021, I had one guardian angel, Mr. White, and I've talked about him briefly over the years, and I'll touch on him and talk about him a little bit more later in the future. But that was the life raft, and that's all I needed, was that little morsel, a little dose of humanity to let me know that, you know what, tomorrow's going to be a better day. I will stop there and not address any more of that very sensitive day in my life. What I'm sharing with you is the narcissist knew that I was going to be reaching that breaking point. They also knew that the narcissist you're considering was going to be pushing you to any breaking point, whatever it is, and only you know what it is. That's why you need to understand and take this extremely seriously. Don't tempt fate, block the narcissist, go no contact, and understand these people know what they're doing. But they want you to get your own hands dirty. They want you to, let's say, not exist. And they want you to take the blame and everything so their false narrative can continue on to the next source of supply. You need to become the generational curse breaker, as am I. You need to close the chapter of the book on the person right now, today, if not now, when, and understand that everything I shared with you is not only accurate and true, but you don't want to get to the point of January 6, 2021. You want to be living an abundant, free, toxic-free life. And the way to do that is to go no contact and block that person and heal properly. Why? I'll tell you why. Because the person you're considering, they knew what would happen to you. They knew what they were doing to you, and they knew and were watching your life implode because they were detonating it every single minute you were connected with them. Don't tempt fate. Get off the radar of these people. Go no contact and heal properly. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk with you tomorrow. Sorry. So that's the video, everyone. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the beautiful Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Wherever you are on the planet, you are not alone. Remember that you are not alone. And the reason I froze there is because there are people about 100 yards in front of me doing something. So I lost track, but I caught myself. So I'll just share this with you. Understand something. If where you are right now is where you want to be, stay there. That means mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, spiritually. That means you've done work. You're doing work. You're doing great. If where you are is not where you want to be, then there's work to be done. Every single day I put work into myself. Every single day I put work into you. Every single day I put work into the planet, helping the planet heal, helping the planet get strong, and helping the planet understand that toxicity has two legs and it walks and talks just like we do. That's why you need to do your part. When you do your part, like I've done my part, we all get stronger. As we get stronger, you know who gets weaker. I love you all, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.